In this video we're going to be replacing the rear brake pads and rotors on a Nissan GU Patrol. Give the brake pad a bit of a scrape down to get all the dust off it so we get a bit of a clean surface to work with. Remove the two bolts holding the brake caliper on. Once you remove these two bolts, you should be able to pull the brake caliper towards you. This will loosen it off a bit so you can remove it and then inspect it for any issues or damage or leaking. Once you've removed it, compress the piston back into the brake caliper. If you want one of these compression tools, send me a message and I'll send one to you. But once you have done compressing the brake piston back into the caliper, have a look. As you can see, there's a lot of dust, grit and grime built up, so you're going to need to give it a really good clean. The reason we clean everything so thoroughly is because this then allows the new brake dust to accumulate somewhere and also prevents any sticking or uneven brake pad wear, because when it's a dirty caliper, things stop moving freely, and when this happens you start to wear out your brake pads a lot quicker and causes issues. Give it a spray with some brake clean, wipe it down and put it out of the way so then you can begin work removing the brake pads. Remove the brake pads and inspect them, compare them to the other pads. As you can see, these are pretty much worn out. The customer was complaining of squeaking and grinding coming from the back, so that's why we're removing these now. I have a few people ask me about giving back to the channel. Look, there's a link in the description. You can leave a tip, a donation, something like this. It really does help the channel a little bit, but if not, just leave a like and thank you so much. Remove these slide pins. These need to be removed, cleaned and re-greased. The reason you want to do this and not overlook this point is because if you don't do this, your brake caliper, I've seen many times, will not move because they are seized in there. So make sure when you've re-greased and cleaned them that they are moving freely before you go on to the next step. Once you're finished doing that, remove the two bolts holding the brake caliper mounting bracket on. Once they're removed, you should be able to remove the rotor. I'm giving these brake caliper mounting bracket bolts a clean because these GUs obviously go on the beach, do a lot of off-roading, and some of these bolts take a bit of a hit. So I want to make sure they thread in nicely and don't rust or have any issues in the future. Take a mallet and give the rotor a little bit of a hit to remove it. Once you've removed it, put it to the side and then get the brake caliper mounting bracket and start cleaning the brake pad guide pins very thoroughly. Once you've cleaned them, remove them, because as you can see underneath, there's a lot of dust and debris under there which prevents the brake pads from moving, and as stated earlier, if the brake pads cannot move, they do not wear properly and perform correctly. Give them all a very good clean, scrub down, wipe down, reinstall the brake pad guides, and then place them out of the way when you are finished. Spray it down with some brake clean too. This just prevents any other issues in the future with dust buildup. Once you've done that, give the face of the hub a good clean, really wipe it down, hit it with some brake clean so then everything's nice and flush when you put the new brake rotor on. Put a bit of anti-seize on the face of the hub. This just prevents any rust buildup, but also helps the rotor come off in the future. Use a lug nut to hold the rotor in place. This just makes reinstalling everything a lot easier. Make sure to wipe down any excess anti-seize. Reinstall the brake caliper mounting bracket and tighten it all down. Take a little bit of grease and chuck it on the ends of the brake pads, just a tiny amount. Make sure you do not put any on the friction material, as this will cause braking issues. Take a little bit of grease and put it on the ears of the brake caliper and on the piston of the brake caliper, so then everything is free and moves very well. Then go over all your work and make sure everything's tight and is moving freely. Side note, the customer was complaining about a soft brake pedal, and I noticed the front brake pads and rotors were changed recently and it looks like someone cracked the bleeder line and didn't bleed them properly. So I went through, bled the brakes, and now the car pulls up really well and the customer is very happy. If you like this video or you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments, like, share it around, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If you see anything in the video that you want to buy or anything, or just want some help, send me a message. Thank you so much.